live stream Wednesday night, August the 7th. Before we go tomorrow, leave tomorrow to go to Chicago for the 50th anniversary of the Beatles, the 50th anniversary of the Fest for Beatle fans. It used to be called Beatle Fest at the Hyatt Regency O'Hara. Here's my monologue. Got some notes here. John Hood came to my work today at the grocery store and picked up his Exile that he bought on eBay that had both hype stickers. I thought it was a 73 pressing gatefold, but he looked it up on Discogs and it was a 77 pressing. It didn't have the postcards. It's the one I opened up live on a live stream. So I gave him a $75 refund and he was happy. But when I showed him some of my heat, I showed him my near mint that you saw on my short earlier today. Near mint Sticky Fingers UK first pressing. And he said that's one of his top 3 albums. And he went outside and thought about it, came back in and bought it for $400. It had A4, B4 in the matrix, had no indentations from the zipper, and it was pretty amazing. He said he listened to it and it sounded amazing. You see, if you watch my short video, you'll see how good a shape it was in. But I also gave him a 1977 Magical Mystery Tour pressing from Germany with the True Stereo B3 on the side 2. And John wanted to play it before he gave it to Bob Bradley. I gave that as a vinyl gift for him promoting my channel on one of his videos a couple weeks ago. Bob hasn't got it yet, but he's excited to get it. I told John Hood to play side 2. And he said he did this evening and he fell off his chair when he played Strawberry Fields Forever. People don't realize how good that pressing is until the first time you hear it on a real nice system.
Joseph Mantino said hello, Sticker family, and Rich said hi, friend.
Hello, Joseph Mantino. Is that Rich from KRWD? Yeah. Sorry, I didn't shout out your name on the last one. I apologize. After I watched it, I realized I made a mistake on that. All right. The big item that I was telling you about, the VJ introducing the Beatles with the title back, version 1, that there might only be 20 or 30 in the world, went off tonight. That's what this title backs mean, but it had Love Me Do and P.S. I Love You on it. And it was a stereo pressing, had the right stereo record with the stereo at the 12 o'clock position. So it was at $800 and 75 people were watching it with 1 minute to go. Here's your trivia question tonight. How much did it sell for? That 1 minute, it went from 800 to what in 1 minute?
10,000.
No. I started looking at the listing good, and I'm all about condition, and it had paper loss on the back and flaking wear on the edges, probably had seam splits, but it had a nice stereo record pressing. I knew the record was worth a couple $1,000s.
It was 1,000.
But I made a $3,300 bid with 2 seconds to go, and it zoomed to $4,000. I was flabbergasted. I never thought that it would zoom from $800 to $4,000. That shows you how rare that introducing the Beatles stereo version 1 title back is. There must only be 20 or 30 confirmed copies in the world.
KRWD said no worries, thumbs up.
Thumbs up, you're right. There'll be something else.
Justin Mantino said 1,200.
1,200. I'm about to take that times 4. On the music system today, the first Beatles song that came on was Obla Dee Obla Da. And I told Sticker granddaughter, I forgot to introduce her, she's going to go to a fest for Beatle fans, and so is Sticker Kid. And my son, cameraman is going, so.
And his girlfriend.
So we're going to have a good time. We got 2 rooms booked at the Hyatt Regency O'Hara.
Cara WD Rich said, "Holy cow," and Joseph Manzino said, "Wow." And then Filmation 83 said, "Hello, Frank. Christian here."
Christian here? All right. You happen to live south of the border? I think you may.
And then do the...
Brad Barnell said, "What's up, Frank? I was on my friend's weekly YouTube live at 8 p.m. tonight."
That is what?
His friend's weekly live at 8 p.m.
Oh, yeah.
tonight.
He's told me about that. The bearded
person?
Yeah. It's called the Bearded
Dragon.
What's the channel's name? Brad will have to tell me.
Ask him.
So how you doing, Christian? We're going to see you also at you and your boss Annular at the Fest for Beatle fans.
Beard of Pop.
Huh?
Beard of Pop.
Oh, Mr. Christian had a question on how to get a hold of me. I can't send emails out on eBay. There's how you get a hold of me. Mr_StickerMania at yahoo.com. That is how you can communicate with me. So please, if you want to get a hold of me, get that email down and send me a message.
Brad,
No.
let me read these first. Joseph Mantino said, "You all will have a great time."
Thanks.
And then Mr. Beatles Pro said, "I'll be there Friday and Saturday. Can't wait."
Beatles Pro, we're going to see you out in the lobby again, I'm sure.
Filmation 83 said, "Got it. Thank you." That is Christian. Filmation 83 is Christian. Okay.
Talking about seeing
He said,
this.
"Got it. Thank you."
Yeah.
And then
He got it, what I was trying to, because he said he couldn't figure out how to get a hold of us.
Brad Parnell said, "If you run into Tom from Two Lakes, tell him I said hello."
Tom Hunyadi and Andy Nichols are already there in Chicago. They're making a long weekend, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We're only going to be there Friday, Saturday, and leave Sunday afternoon after the collector's show. About 2:30, because I got 2 kids. I got to get back to school. All right. They also, on our music system, a few other notes. They played Band on the Run today. And I know we've heard that song thousands of times, but what a great song by Paul McCartney. It's like 3 different songs together, 3 different segments, and it's just a terrific, amazing song that will live forever.
You forgot something. You forgot your good deeds.
Good deeds. I know I helped some people out. Somebody got a hold of our own store owner and said I do a real good job of helping people find things on the aisles. And then he's going to give me a shout out.
And you gave someone a free soda because their thing was messed up.
What was messed up?
Their ice cream.
Ice cream, they had a 12-pack ice cream cups and 2 of them were missing.
Yeah.
I said, I'm sorry, that happens at the store sometime. And I gave him a free soda to the girl to make up for him.
Yep. And then Mr. Beatles Pro said, "School started by you guys already tomorrow."
Tomorrow.
Not today.
They're going to school tomorrow. Sticker granddaughter and Sticker kid, but we're taking them with us to Beatle Fest. So
On Friday.
shame on me. They're not going on Friday. We'll have them back for Monday. Chicago's where we're going. Last weekend they had Lollapalooza there. And it was one of the biggest Lollapaloozas ever. Do you guys know why Lollapalooza is drawing so many people? There's one artist that is off the charts and drawing people in right now in concerts. Who is it? Let's see who the first person to answer that one. And then next weekend they got the Democrat National Convention there in Chicago, so I'm glad we're not going to be there that weekend. That'll be a mess.
You would love to be there.
All right, anybody figure out who was at Lollapalooza?
No, but Christian did say, Frank, I'll call you early on Friday.
Okay. All right, here is the artist's name that is drawing people in like crazy, if I can say her name right. Chapel Rowan.
But he can't call on it.
Have you heard of Chapel Rowan yet?
Chapel Rowan? Yeah.
Joseph said, man.
She is the new
Joseph Mantino said Green Day.
Green Day. No, it's Chapel Rowan. She, they booked all these concerts before she just exploded, and now wherever she goes, they can't hold. Like if it's a small arena that's booked, they have to move her to a stadium. I mean, to a large arena, because the demand for her concerts is 10 times higher than it was 6 months ago.
Mr. Beatles Pro said the Numismatist Convention is next door to Hyatt. You read this.
What's going to be? Last year we had the
Comic-Con.
Comic-Con was next to us. What's next to us this year? Where's it
There's
at?
too many big words.
Newman.
The Numinous Convention is next door to the Hyatt this weekend.
So they must be in that convention building. That
Yeah, we went by that convention. We walked out by the convention building.
Joseph Mantino just said, LOL, I was off.
The what?
He was off on the Green Day.
Yeah.
So.
Green Day is not exactly as popular as Chapel Rowan right at the moment. She is the artist at the moment.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Money convention is what Mr. Beatles Pro said. So I guess that's what it is.
So we make money?
Money convention? I guess it's a money convention.
No, I'm not familiar with it. All right. I won a lot of albums tonight on eBay with a lot of signed albums by 2 artists. A whole bunch of signed Denny Lane, Wings albums, and Badfinger albums signed by Joey Malone. So I thought that was pretty cool. Joe Hilton's, I worked out a deal with him. Tomorrow from FedEx, I'm getting a Love Me Do first pressing from January 1962 in Canada. Supposedly only 88 copies sold in the stores, and there were 200 DJ copies that were sent to DJs, and that was it. The very first pressing of Love Me Do, and it comes with a COA from Perry Cox. I figured that's got to be worth over $1,000. Also getting one of those warehouse finds of VJ souvenir of their visit to America in 1964, where Perry Cox had a whole warehouse find. I'm getting one of those, perfectly mint condition. I think it first came from Guy and Colleen in Ohio. And I'm getting a Sweet Georgia white label promo, and I'm getting a VJ promo that looks like, of the EP that looks like this blue and white label. This is for Bingo by the Baby Bugs, which isn't worth much, but if you had the Beatles on this blue and white VJ promo, very valuable. It's amazing how you got the Beatles on a record and it's worth 10 to 20 times what any other artist would be. A few more notes and we're going to start showing things. LA ticket story. Here we go. I'll show this one. This is a ticket stub for the next to last concert the Beatles ever performed before an audience. August 28th, 1966 at Los Angeles Dodger Stadium.
Go up a little bit. Stop right there. Let it focus. Yeah, it won't make no difference. All right, you're good. I just want to see if you can read the writing a little bit.
Here's a backstory on that. The day before they played San Francisco for the last show, they played at Dodger Stadium before 45,000 people. They only had 102 security staff on duty that night for 45,000 people. And the Beatles arrived to the stadium in an armored car, which they parked behind the stage. And during the beginning of Long Tall Sally, several hundred fans rushed out onto the field. So when the Beatles got done singing Long Tall Sally, they got in the armored car, which was tough, and because there were 100 fans surrounding the car. And then there were a couple hundred more fans that got onto the field on the path where the armored car was going to go. So the driver hurriedly tried to get through, went fast through the crowd over to the dugout on the other side of the stadium. And the Beatles had to hide in the dressing room for 2 hours before they cleared everybody out of the stadium. And then they got in an ambulance and they wrecked into a broken fencing, and the ambulance couldn't go any farther. So they had to get back into the armored car to get to their home that they rented in the Beverly Hills. So you can see between that show, the 28th, and the 29th in San Francisco, where they said they were bouncing around in an armored car there after the show to get out of there. That was enough for them. George Harrison, he had it with that, and I'm sure John Lennon. Paul McCartney would have gone on forever touring, but the other three had it, and they knew that last show in San Francisco was it. And they even had Tony Barrow recorded it onto cassette, because they knew Paul McCartney told them to record it onto cassette recorder because they knew it was going to be their last live show. Paul, if you ever listen to it on YouTube, Paul McCartney gave it his all. He's singing background vocals with all the songs, and he almost takes over even when George is singing If I Needed Someone. And the Day Tripper is just a early punk version, early punk song, the way that they just scream out that song. So,
Brad Barnell said, "Are you going to see Badfinger at the fair this year?"
Badfinger at the fair. Yes, I will definitely go see. I hope that Joey Malone's there. Surely is. He has to be there, or you can't call it Badfinger.
And then Mr. Beatles Pro said, "Are you selling there this weekend or just buying?"
I'm doing a little bit of both.
We'll see how the weekend goes.
I will get with, I've already told Rockaway Records, I know I'm coming there, and they said stop by and say hi to Wayne Johnson. He wants to talk to you. And maybe we'll do a short video again of me being behind the booth there at Rockaway Records.
I'm going to do the last.
Miller J said, "Hey Frank, did you win your introducing the Beatles?"
I had a story about that. I made a $3,300 bid with 4 seconds to go, and it zoomed up to $4,000 over 3 bids in the last microsecond. Went for $4,000. I thought about it the last 30 seconds, looked at the pictures again, and I'm so trained about condition, it got me confused. And really, this album was all about rarity. All right, that's my story on the KRLA. That's a Los Angeles radio station in the 60s of the Beatles performing there on August 28th. Pretty amazing story. I think about my notes are about done. We'll start showing things. You got some questions.
Everyone like, subscribe, and hit the notification link for a free giveaway when we get to 2,000 and for more lives.
Yeah, some of our shorts are getting 50 likes now. That's what you need to really get the right rhythm on YouTube. So we appreciate that. We're up to 1,777 subscribers, so that's pretty cool. 220 some away from giving away this practice butcher cover, a stereo East Coast Scranton number 2. Butcher covers. You saw this on my last live stream. There's somebody that's messaged me earlier in this live stream wants to buy this week at Chicago. A near mint.
How much is it going for? Or are you just doing a bidding?
It's over $4,000. A near mint peeled butcher cover with no flaws at all. Number 3 mono Scranton, Pennsylvania, with the trunk slit off in one piece. Just a little repaired tear over there, and there's a little tear on that side. And then this is a second state west coast that I don't peel with a strong glue. You probably can't see it, but the V, if you see this in person, you can see Ringo's V-neck right there. It's a number 6, Los Angeles, West Coast. I didn't bring my sealed mono 1966 second state from the West Coast tonight. I might take that to Chicago and see if what's their name? Media Grading. That's not video. Vinyl Media Grading, VMC. If they're there at the fest for Beatles fans, I might have it slabbed. All right, that is butcher covers. That's amazing, nice peeled butcher cover. Only the 4th time in my life I ever had a near mint peeled butcher cover. Got it on the wrong side. Put that away. We got a mobile that will not fall. Joe Hilton saw that one fall.
Lift it up a little bit.
Led Zeppelin mobile. All right, talked about that.
You got vintage media grading.
Is that what it's
No,
not?
someone just said
It's vintage.
No, that's too commented just now. Say what they commented.
Vintage Media Grading said VMG won't be there, but you can mail it in.
All right, there's a shout out. You're watching it tonight. Thanks. Appreciate that. I'll try to get a hold of you when we get back from Chicago. I will not take it with me. That helped me a lot. Thanks. Purchases this week. I bought the butcher cover number 3 to peel, an East Coast, and tonight I bought a number 6 West Coast not to peel because it was a nice second state, and the whole left side you can see the butcher cover. They applied the slick on a little bit too fast, and you can see the butcher cover all the way down the left edge. I love it when a butcher cover is like that.
Vintage Media Grading said love your channel.
All right, thanks. Appreciate that. Were you at the Austin record show? On Mazzy talked to you, I think. All right, butcher covers. They're really hard to find. The nice butcher covers. They're real tough now. They're thinning out. The ones are pretty rough that are on the internet. To find an East Coast to peel now is almost impossible, but I found the only one last week that was decent, and I won it in an auction for $910. And the number 6 that was up tonight, the second state, he had it 600 with a starting bid, and it was so nice. Right away I sent him a message. I said, would you consider revising this listing with a buy it now for $900 for a quick sale? He said, yes, I will do that. So that's one of my little tricks of the trade. I talked him into a buy it now, and I got it before it went actually to an auction. Once there's one bid on an auction, you can't change it. You can't revise it to a buy it now. You got to do that right away.
So Vintage Media Grading said yes at Austin. They said they'll be there again in October.
In Austin? I looked up going to Austin once to the record show maybe 8 years ago, and the drive was like worse than going to Florida. It was 16 hours. I said, I can't do that. It's bad enough going 6 hours to Chicago. All right, some other things I wanted to know on the internet this week. I got a DIE Beatles from Germany, -2, -2, 1973, coming from Canada. Somebody put up a Led Zeppelin lot of albums. The first album, the second album, the third album, the fourth album, and all the way up to House of the Holy on Led Zeppelin. They were all in the shrink, and almost all of them had the hype stickers. For $400, all 5 of them. I waited about 10 minutes, and there were like 15 watchers in the first 10 minutes, and I knew it was going to sell any second, and I bought it. And then he started showing me other albums he had in the shrink, and he showed me the Rolling Stones Octagon cover of Through the Past Darkly, and it had the hype sticker for Honky Tonk Women on it. I bought that, and then he showed me the Bad Company's first album with the hype sticker. I don't know what year on the Bad Company, but I bought it.
All right, hold on. KOWD said 400, what a giveaway. And then John Hood said, real happy to get the 1971 UK sticky fingers from you today. Thanks as always, John.
Way to go, John. I told you that you would be impressed with that TML Doug Sachs cutting. That is different than the USA cutting. That mastering only was available on the first pressings in England and Germany. And Michael Fremer told Chad Kasson, he said, this is the best pressing of Sticky Fingers ever. And Michael Fremer, when he was visiting in Salina, Kansas, went through Chad's vinyl vault, and he found a copy of it, and Chad said he didn't even know he had it. He had a Germany copy of it. But you got the first pressing UK. I've only had that a few times, and I've never had it in that kind of condition before. Even the cover looked like the zipper had never been tampered with. Talked about the Led Zeppelin lot. I bought a 1976 rock and roll and the gold with the hype stickers and that gold cover. The only way you can get that in good shape is it has to be factory sealed or in the shrink. Once that shrink comes off, that foil cover shows wear real quick. I don't have one right here now to show you. I got another 7-inch Lee Allen Presents A Trip to Miami Part 1 and Part 2 with a flyer. That's a real rare Beatles item that once I had one last year that came with a Detroit mailer, and Perry Cox said he had a buyer for over $1,000, and Perry bought it from me right away for somebody he knew was going to pay for it. So that's one of the rare interviews. I guess it's the only time the Beatles gave an interview when they were in Miami in 1964 for the Ed Sullivan Show, when they took about 5 days off. The only interview they gave was to Lee Allen, a DJ from Detroit. And Lee Allen, his claim to fame is when he was a DJ there, he played a whole hour of straight Beatles in early February on a Sunday night, and the phone calls and the attention was just out of this world. He did not realize that Beatlemania had taken over the United States. So he traveled all the way to Miami to see what the fuss was about, and the Beatles were nice enough to give him an interview. I have another Led Zeppelin 2 Monarch pressing coming. They're excellent condition, but the cover's kind of rough, but this lot of albums I have in the shrink has a Led Zeppelin 2 in the shrink with a hype sticker for A Whole Lot of Love. So I'll Frankenstein and put the one cover with the one record, with the Monarch pressing record. Got an Aftermath UK stereo 1966, and bought it on the internet today. And Joe Hilton, I got a bunch of Stones promo 7-inch coming with that orange label. I don't have that, but that's an undervalued item. Most of the Rolling Stones 7-inch picture sleeves and promos are all undervalued, but I think they're going to go up a lot in value here in the next few years. And it's something real cool from the same person. I got the Sticky Fingers from the UK, from Canada. He had a Let It Bleed mini record player that came out in England in 1969 to promote Let It Bleed. And it's a little record player, and if you push the button, there's a little turn, a little needle that plays Gimme Shelter on this unique record that's different than I've ever seen before, like a red label. So I'll have to show that to you when I get back. We may do, see how it goes in Chicago, we may do a live stream Saturday at 11 with Mikey Arugula if we can figure it out. How you doing there, Mikey Arugula? We're gonna see you in a few days. Andy and Tom are already there. Joe Mayo says he's going, but he may get delayed because of the weather of getting there. He may not get there till Saturday. And Kid O'Toole lives close to Chicago. And I'm sure we're going to see a lot of other people like Terry Crane that does that book. All right, that's most of my notes. Any questions? I'm going to show some things. Here we go. Might as well start with the biggest thing. The most valuable commercial. We had an argument with somebody on YouTube, but he finally agreed with me. The most valuable regular commercial picture sleeve from the Beatles that exists in the world. And this is in near mint condition. The last one it sold was Very Good Plus from Rockaway Records. Sold for $2,200. So I figure the value on this has got to be close to $3,000. They only made a short pressing of it on the East Coast, and the record had already had 2 million pre-orders and sales, went straight to #1, and Capitol Records said, we don't need to make any more picture sleeves. It was only the very first pressing on the East Coast. There can't be more than about 10 in the world in this condition. And it has a near mint record too. I know that's not the value. The value is all right there. Can't Buy Me Love, and you can't do that. They were supposed to release Rollover Beethoven, Capitol Records, and Brian Epstein says, no, we got something better than Rollover Beethoven. And he was talking about Can't Buy Me Love. Went straight to #1.
Joseph Mentino said he always loved that pic.
The picture? Yeah, it's the same picture they used on I Want to Hold Your Hand. But this is worth 10 to 20 times what I Want to Hold Your Hand picture lady was worth. Love Me Do. Got a third pressing from December 1962 in England of Love Me Do with one in the dead wax. Very good plus condition. This could have been one of the 10,000 that Brian Epstein purchased to make sure the Beatles got on the charts with Love Me Do. And that's the original company sleeve from Parlophone at that time. I think that's pretty cool.
A little Beatles corner said everything they did went straight to #1.
Not everything they did, but how you doing, a little Beatles corner? I saw your last video. It was pretty good.
Can I have the pen? Pen.
Pen. All right. Any other questions? Got this archive edition sealed from 2015 of Tug of War. Don't think there's going to be any more archive editions come out, unless I'm wrong. Has 3 CDs and a DVD, numbered edition. What's cool about this? The number is 103. Early numbered of Tug of War.
Do that 67 Pepper.
67 Peppers. So how do you identify that as a third pressing? Let me do.
I looked it up in that book right there. If you can hand me that book.
Not so far.
And then Joseph Mantino said that is a fantastic archive set.
Well, what was that?
I don't know. I don't know. It says in your book.
If you look up in Bruce Spicer's book, Beatles for Sale on Parlophone Records, it has a whole chapter on Love Me Do. And I have a third pressing. You can tell by the different way the parentheses and whether it has a made in Great Britain or it doesn't have a made in Britain.
Up a little.
But it's a third
There you go.
pressing from the December 1962 is what I have.
Alright, do the Brad part now.
Brad Parnell said I had to step away a while on Beard of Pop Business. I didn't get to hear if you were going to see Badfinger or not. Yes.
They're going to play at the fair?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be back for that. I'll have to go see that. We saw Joey Malone at Beatle Fest, at the Fest for Beatle fans last year. He won't be there this year. But he did 4 songs with the band Liverpool. And we saw him out in the lobby when he was talking to somebody coming up the escalator. And I go, "Hi, Joey, how's it going?" And he said hi to me. But when he looked like he weighed 125 pounds. And when he got up on stage and sang "Come and Get It," Day After Day, Baby Blue, and No Matter What, he gave all of his soul of playing those 4 songs, and it was just amazing. So, Christian, you were interested in these. I have 3 left. The John Lennon with the price tag of 59 cents from Moore's is already sold for $175. So I got 3 left of these. If you're interested, I'll bring them to Chicago with me. These are 1964 on the backing card.
Do the Daniel.
Daniel Castillo said, "Did you hear all members of Beatles are getting a biopic?"
Yeah, all 4 movies are coming out at the same time too. So it seems like they're going to have to be streamed. I can't believe a movie theater would have 4 different theaters with 4 movies playing at the same time.
I do Brad.
Okay, I can see him. Brad Parnell said many years ago I saw one of those shows at the fair that had Herman's, but I think the guitarist was for the original lineup.
Peter Noon was there. If you saw him about 8 to 10 years ago, I was there. And did Tommy James and the Shondells open for them for Herman Hermits? That was the show I saw at the fairground. But I don't think any of the guitarists were with his band anymore. The drummer has his own band, does Herman Hermit's song called Barry Whitman. I have a purple one still in my storage unit. These 2 I have left that you seem to have a lot of interest, a few of you, the 1966 disco cases.
That one you don't wait to see all 4 cases. You only see them. There you go.
Working handle, made by Charter Industries Corporation in New York City in 1966. I have 3 left. The purple one, the yellow one, and the red one out of the 7 I had.
Mr. Beatles Frost said Peter on Monday at the Wisconsin State Fair.
Peter Noon's gonna be there?
No, we just saw him.
Oh, you just saw him? That's Tom, I think. Peter Pro is Tom. Was he good there, Tom?
Daniel Castillo said Taylor Swift canceled all her shows due to a terrorist threat.
Yeah, Taylor Swift, I saw that on the news today that she had to cancel a lot of the air tours. That's terrible.
We don't.
Yeah, we care.
Brad Parnell said we saw Tommy James at a U of L bonfire pep rally back in the late 1980s. That's about the same time I saw the Hermits without Peter Nunn.
Oh, well then you saw him at a different time. He might have had one of the original guitarists then. All right, this is a 1993. I'm not usually into these Delphi, but I bought a whole Abbey Road collection This is a 1993 collector's plate of Abbey Road. Got the original paperwork and styrofoam. Got to have the styrofoam thing to protect it. And I got a big Abbey Road towel I'll show here. You want to help me on this sticker, granddaughter? I got to focus here a little bit. You done with this?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see Mickey Dolenz this weekend from the Monkees. He's not going to do any monkey songs. Hold it. Yeah.
Here, let's hold it back a little
Yeah,
more
scoot
so
back
that
like
we
he
see.
did.
Now pull it towards you.
Now go towards you, Lil.
Pretty
Now
sharp.
drop it down a little bit.
Pretty sharp
Down, take it down a
Beatles
little
towel of the Beatles walking around across Abbey
Down.
Road.
He said
You
down.
go down a little bit, Dad. There we go, because you were cutting his head off. George's head was gone.
Got original tag, and let's see when this was. What year was this came out?
1976.
No, this is pretty recent. Apple Core 2012. Abbey Road, Abbey Road. Let's talk about Abbey Roads. You saw my Abbey Road with the misaligned apple, very first pressing. I don't have one of them tonight. I have two of them.
No.
2 covers with the misaligned apple. One's got an original price tag of £2, 50 pence up on the top. Unless this is a military issue. For a military base, then it would be $2.50. The sewer grates are about the same. You see a little more of that one than you do on this one. But it looks like these were pressed. These covers were made about the same exact time. This is the real nice one, goes here. And this is the one that goes here. One of these has a record with No Her Majesty on it. And this one has a pressing, a first pressing -2, -1, and it does have Her Majesty on it. So they must have changed that pretty quick when they put Her Majesty on the label. In the United States, it took several years before they put Her Majesty, but in England, they figured out right away that Her Majesty should be listed on the record. It was a hidden track for a bit. You saw my first press White Album on the last live stream. I won't show it very much. But John Hood wanted this today, but he did a hard pass. He said, at my asking price of $850. A first press mono with both records that don't have any EMI recording on it. It was a mistake. They made these about 3 weeks before the record was released. And then they had British Rail. It's in that book I showed you from Bruce Spicer. British Rail could not keep up with the demand for this album. And record stores only got 40%, usually stereo copies, of what they ordered. But this is a first pressing mono.
Brad Purnell said, whose fault was it that Her Majesty got on the records to begin with?
That wasn't on it to begin with?
It was.
That ain't
Don't know the answer to that. They didn't list it as one of the tracks. It was like a hidden track, and then everybody was talking about Her Majesty, and then they figured they had to put it on the record label. That's what I think. I'm gonna have to read up more on that. So anyway, I'll probably take this to Chicago with me.
I dare you.
Might sell it there. $850. Some other new things. We got a sealed Led Zeppelin 1977 pressing. No barcode. It's got the Stairway to Heaven hype sticker on there. Someday, if I don't sell it right away, I might do a sealed reveal to see if it has a Porky Pecco duck in the dead wax on this pressing from 77. Peepee would probably know the answer to that. What are you guys whispering about?
She's over there tapping on the pen or something, making all that noise. I'm trying to tell her to stop.
Did you hear it?
Do you get fidgety about halfway through the
I
stream?
think she does.
Well, you got a long weekend. You better not get too fidgety.
I'll just get on my phone.
John Hood was pretty impressed with this Kiss promo. So was Kevin from Kevin Records. When they saw this, they'd never seen it before. From 1976 to promote the Destroyer tour when they were on tour that summer in 1976.
Wait, where'd your bubble wrap go?
Bubble wrap is in the other room.
Yeah, you don't need that.
It's got a cool label of the Kiss dressed up there. White label promo. Not for resale. Only the DJ's got this. It's got Beth, Do You Love Me on side 1. And side 2, Flaming Youth in Detroit Rock City.
When you were a little kid, who was the most popular band?
When I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Well, when I was 10, it was the Beatles. I didn't know much about music until I was 10.
Oh.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Somewhat.
I sold another one of these today. I've sold about 5 of these in the last few months. The most desired magazine from the 60s with the Beatles on the cover. 1968, January 9th. With a Avedon John Lennon photo on the front. We got a couple posters of the Avedons today. These are the German. This isn't the real valuable look ones. These are a little bit smaller, but these are 68 from Germany for Stern. Avedon posters for Stern. That's Paul McCartney. And we got a real nice, got these 2 from Rockaway Records. They put them up there.
Can I have this one?
Look how sharp that Ringo is with that psychedelic blue.
Oh, cool.
Those are both, this one's up for sale on my eBay STICKERMANIA 2853 eBay store for $99.
Dang. Can I have a family discount?
Yeah, family discount. I didn't know there was a family discount.
50% off.
Beatles for sale. I went into my local store called Better Days here in Louisville, Kentucky once, and the employee was playing a pressing of this on the stereo system of Beatles for sale from Australia with the unique cover. And I said, "Do you have that for sale?" He said, "Yeah. It's only $40, but it has a real rough condition cover." And I had never heard Beatles for sale sound like that in a record store before. The sound stage was just amazing. And now I've always been on search for the best pressings ever of the stereo Beatles from sale for around the world.
67 Pepper said give it to her.
So I have a factory sealed Australian pressing coming in the next week. Give her what?
The poster.
The discount?
Yeah.
Talking about imports, we got a German pressing from 77 of Revolver. Revolver usually doesn't sound very good in stereo, but Andrew from Polygram Auctions said this is probably the best audiophile stereo pressing that exists in the world of Revolver. Germany sure knew how to master those Beatle albums in the late 70s. They had the best equipment in the world to press records.
67 Peppers said the poster, come on, Chiefs.
What are we talking about? You guys are on a different, I don't know what.
She asked to give her the poster. You said
No.
no, because
No.
it's on sale.
Oh.
And then 67 Peppers said, come on, give it to a cheapskate.
If she really wants it, I guess we'll have to give her the Ringo one. Paul's, oh, you want Paul then? I'll have to give you the shirt, Paul's shirt. That's what you want. Alright, Steely Dan sold today for $39.
That was mean.
This was cut by Robert Ludwig from the original master tapes, all the best tracks, and it's the best compilation you can ever get, sounding of Steely Dan's greatest hits.
Open it back up and lift it up a little because they can't see the whole. There we go.
Cool.
Robert Ludwig. He just didn't do Led Zeppelin. He did a lot of different pressings. Meet the Beatles. This album that I won the other day on CTI on the internet, Carrying Transitions. It had a real nice Meet the Beatles with this Beatles Are Coming sticker, a lot better shape than this. And I'm just hoping when I get the lot of records, it has the very first pressing with no ASCAP or BMI, because that's the Meet the Beatles that has all the value. The very first pressing of Meet the Beatles done in early 1964 before the Beatles came to America. Bob Dylan. Told you I had this last time, but I didn't have it with me, so I got it out of my storage unit. A UK early 1970s pressing. Bob Dylan's more Bob Dylan greatest hits. And I don't know how it is possible, but this is an audiophile pressing from CBS in Columbia in England. Show you a record of it.
Daniel Castillo asked, did you have the picture sleeve appraised for $3K?
What is it?
Did you have the picture sleeve appraised for $3K?
No, that's my appraisal.
Cool.
It used to be 8 years ago. Perry Cox had his book price guide, and he had a value of $2,000, but it has gone up a lot in the last 5 years. Got to be close to $3,000.
Brad Parnell said, did you ever get the Batman Superman World's Finest number 10 comic book with the Paul McCartney cover? It came out around
I did not get that.
2020.
Brad, you'll have to show that to me at the store sometime.
And then do the Daniel.
And then Daniel Castillo said, good luck getting that amount.
I don't think you can get that amount.
I can get $2,500 in a second. Okay, we'll see. In a couple weeks, I'll say, Daniel, I told you so. I have somebody that's interested in it this weekend in Chicago. Here is a not very good shape, but a real rare movie poster, 22 by 28 of the Tammy Show, December of 1964. I said that wrong on one of my shorts. I said 1969. Rolling Stones had to close the show after James Brown, and that was a tough place to be. But Mick Jagger watched James Brown, and he picked up some of his dance steps. First time he ever used them was on this show. This was done in 2 days, and then they took the best bits to make the movie of this Tammy Show. I'm sure you've all seen it. Jerry and the Pacemakers, Chuck Berry, Billie Jean Kramer and the Dakotas, Marvin Gaye, Smokey Robinson, the Barbarians. The Beach Boys was cut out of their original movie print, but they put it back in on the DVD release a few years ago. Leslie Gore and Jan and Dean. Dean Torrance was at our Abbey Road on the River a few months ago here in Louisville.
Brad Farnell said that I can show you all kinds of Beatles related comics I have.
All right.
And then a little.
The only one I ever had was the Dale 1964 Beatles coloring comic book. That's the one that has the most value to me.
A little Beatles corner said, I just saw that show on YouTube. It was fabulous.
What was?
A show on YouTube.
What are you just talking about? Shit, what were we just talking about? Brain for it.
Yeah, I know. The last time I messed up with Daniel Costello, what were we talking about? What show?
Probably the one on the poster.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, the Tammy show.
Yeah.
All right, we got
Brain
it.
for it.
Way to go, little Beatle corner. We almost messed up like we did Daniel Costello. I noticed when I watched the video again, I didn't answer what you were talking about, and I just slipped my mind. I'm sorry, Daniel.
Daniel Castillo said, did Kay the Murray put together the show?
Who? Murray, the K, and...
Kay the Murray put together the show.
I don't know. They had Bill Sargent was executive producer, Steve Binder was the director, and David Winter from the Hullabaloo show was the one that choreographed the girls that danced behind him. And Tim, who's the girl that's in the Monkey's Head movie? Terry Garr is one of the dancers there in this show. But the Dick Clark had something to do with this too. There's my Strawberry Fields picture sleeve from 1967 with Penny Lane on the back. Both those songs are on the second side of that Magical Mystery Tour that John Hood played today. And the first time I heard Penny Lane from this pressing, it shocked me, but he said the Strawberry Fields, he had never heard Strawberry Fields sound like that, like it does on the German Magical Mystery Tour.
Can you tell the cameraman to stop being mean?
Is he being mean?
Yeah.
Exile on Main Street. Got to talk about the Rolling Stones a little bit. So John Hood got the one today that was the gatefold cover. He said it was a 77 pressing, but it had the hype sticker on the front and the back shrink. And I didn't know that they made hype stickers that late. This is a Unipack cover. It says Unipack right there in the printing. And it didn't last very long because a lot of customers that bought this with the Unipack were bringing them back to stores. They hated this cover. Unipacks were made on a few other covers in 1972, but it didn't last very long. And they changed it to the gatefold. That's all 12 original postcards that came with it. I asked John Hood if he needed the postcards, and he said he already had them. He said Exile on Main Street and Sticky Fingers are two of his favorite albums.
My favorite is...
And he said he got a hold of in a record store a couple weeks ago, he got a hold of a light blue triangle Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon first pressing from the United Kingdom for $400. That's quite a steal to find that out in the wild. I told him the value of that has to be close to $1,500. Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. Where are we at on time?
It is 12:04.
All right, we're down to the last 2 minutes. You got any final questions before we start packing and getting ready to go to Chicago? I got a Let It Bleed laminated cover, first pressing, 1970 from the United Kingdom. Mr. Wolfie Baby's got my box set that I put up there, and he loves it. It's one of the best shaped UK 70 box sets I've ever had. But if you've never listened to Let It Bleed, it's usually not one of my favorite albums, but if you listen to this -2 2U pressing of Let It Bleed, Not Let It Bleed. I'm getting mixed up. Let It Be. It sounds pretty amazing. Beatles at the BBC, 1993. I found the record to go with it, and that's the original promo kit for the Beatles at the BBC. Young Beatles in those photos at the BBC.
What the hell is that? Oh, what the heck is that?
There they are with the, I think that's Brian Matthews, one of the DJs on the BBC. All right, I think that's it for us in Louisville, Kentucky, and hopefully you'll see us Saturday in Chicago. So
Bye, best friends.
we'll do if we do a live stream Saturday night at 11 p.m., we'll do a short earlier in the day telling you when we'll be on.
Everyone give it a like.
All right. Thanks a lot from Louisville, Kentucky. Thanks for checking in with us and all the questions, and I hope I answered them the best I could. Thanks, Sticker Granddaughter. See you later.
We might see you next Saturday.